Corey Miller, and this is Dr. Mark Christian, and we are here with the Different Perspective podcast. And today we're going to do, I don't know, a little bit of question answer. I've got some questions, and hopefully Dr. Christian has some answers. We thought some things that we've been hearing about in the news, which means you've probably been hearing about these same things in the news. One of the things that I was listening to last night was mentioning the idea that we're running out of ammunition. And so the question would be, are we not? How much backstock do we have? And two, that's also what's keeping Russia and China or anybody else out of the equation now until we run out of ammunition. And maybe the same thing with Iran, that they're going to wait until we're out of ammunition to really hit with hard stuff. So anyway, all that said, Dr. Mark, what do you think about that?
I think the Chinese and the Russians are involved behind the scenes because, you have to keep in mind if the Chinese and the Russians are involved in any shape or form that is public and is very clear, this is immediately a war between the United States and Russians and the Chinese, and it's a World War III immediately. So, out of abundance of caution,
again,
it's not even a Cold War; it's going to be a hot war.
No, I mean, if they did get involved, but right now they can support Iran from the background, and it becomes more or less a Cold War.
Yes, I like I mentioned actually a couple of shows. The Russians are not. They even those signed agreements that they are supporting Iran, but they're not doing as much. The Chinese are the one who has heavily invested into this conflict in support of Iran, and the reason is that this is the last gas station that they have that is subsidized and almost for free to get the free energy. And you have to keep in mind, China has a lot of things, but they do not have natural resources and they do not have oil or gas. So they depend in their industrial revolution and their advancement economically on others to get that stuff from. And Venezuela and Iran were the main source of energy for them. So China has been supporting Iran for quite some time. Obviously, it wasn't that good of intelligence, but they were supporting with high-tech kind of a stuff to disperse signals, to keep their internet going, to guide the missiles, all of this kind of technology that they are giving to the Iranians. But they are very cautious because the Chinese, the last thing want to do is a straightforward confrontation with the United States. The thing that I think it comes to a surprise to a lot of people that right now that the Iranians are refusing. Trump even called for full surrender, or they asking, or that they will surrender because they are fighting for their own survivals. Everybody in Iran is doing that. Then Iranians have put in place a plan. Ayatollah that was taken out from day one in this conflict. The head of the Iranian, he's a religious leader and a political leader, and by his guidance, he put a succession plan for himself and a succession plan for every top leader in the country, and not only one level, but he put it 4 levels
deep.
4 levels. That's what he did. So you have for the intelligence, for example, this is the person right now. This is A if he's gone. This is B if he's gone. C if he's gone. D is gone. So he has 4 levels deep. This is why Iran is still functioning and still running till today. How did he do that? Not he's a genius, but what happened in June of last year kind of taught him that. And not only what happened only in June, what happened to Hezbollah himself when Israel and the United States, by the guide of the United States and our weaponry, make no mistake, when we took Hezbollah head, immediately there was kind of some kind of a paralysis in Hezbollah. So he immediately thought about, what, we have to have a succession plan, learning from the wars.
The pagers?
You're talking about the pagers. They took multiple leaders, but I'm talking about Hassan Nasrallah attack when Netanyahu was over here in the United States. And Hassan Nasrallah has been the head of Hezbollah for so long and has been very successful in running Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, giving so much headache to Israel. So Hassan Nasrallah taking out was an explosion in the Middle East and in the Iranian system, because actually it was bigger than actually taking Ayatollah Khomeini himself. Okay, Hassan Nasrallah, when he was taken out by intelligence from inside, because he was 9 levels underground, and he was taken out by huge big bunker busters that was shipped to the United States, and they cannot even carry it. So actually, in a way, we carried the bombs all the way to the attack, because they're very limited planes that can carry this heavyweight bombs. So basically, the United States did it, and Israel told us where to dump the bombs. But when that happened, it paralyzed Hezbollah, which is a good thing. It's a terrorist organization, and but the Iranians learn from it, and Hezbollah learn from it. Okay, one thing that we have to keep an eye on right now, we have never heard from the Houthis. That is a very big question mark.
And they're not causing problems right now.
No,
and as far
we did not hear
they're
from them.
they're not trying to kill
He did not
ships.
join the war.
Yeah.
And that is weird by itself. You have to keep in mind, why is that? This is a big question mark, and this question mark even for the whole Gulf and the United States. You know,
And so people know they're on the Red Sea, not on the Persian
they
Gulf.
are in all the way in the south,
Yeah.
so they can control more economical path for energy
Suez.
through the Red Sea and the Suez, both, because they control the opening of the Red Sea. So if an energy boat wants to go to, you know, we wish we have the ability to put maps and stuff like that, but maybe in the future we will. Maybe, yeah, hopefully pray for us so we can be able. So if you have a boat carrying oil, leaving, you know, the energy, the oil production, the biggest oil production in the world, and going through the Strait of Hormuz, and if he was able to go through that, then they go what's called Bab el-Mandab, and this is where they have to go around the Red Sea and go in. So right now the focus on the Strait of Hormuz, but if that is still functional, then the Red Sea. I think strategically, Iran is working strategically for their survival. So we are dealing with an asymmetric warfare. This is, I think, maybe the big question that we have. They are dealing with asymmetric warfare. They are using their. It's very weird that we have been bombarding them with all of those bombing and target operation to take out their weaponry, and they still have in their stockpile an ability, weapons and ability to fire them on Bahrain, on Oman, and all the Gulf states. And Iran did something very interesting. They are throwing it haphazardly, but also they are throwing it, hitting very high value target. This is not a war of weapons, it's a war of economy. Basically, Iranians wants to hurt the international economy as much as they can, so United States will suffer, and it will be a defeat economically to the United States and the world. So basically, what they are like, for example, when they hit Amazon centers, and they took out 2 Amazon centers in the Gulf area in Emirates. When they did that, they said because those high-tech information centers for Amazon were used by the United States for their warfare, and they took them out, justifying that. Because this is, you have to keep in mind, this is a company, right? A corporation hit for military purposes. This is kind of on you. The internet became the enemy. The high tech is becoming the enemy. And then when they took out our radar system that cost billions of dollars, that was
in Kuwait.
In Kuwait. This is a big deal as well. So even though we are attacking them big and we're hurting them hard, but they are fighting for their survival.
They're hurting us in ways that I think people are surprised by.
Yes. One other thing is, like you mentioned, the asymmetric warfare in a way, and this has been said in the Gulf as well, that they are been sending all of those missiles. Iranians are sending all of those missiles and drones. And you have to keep in mind, they send a drone that costs $200 to $500. And for us to take it down, or for the Gulf countries to take it down, they are hitting it with a Patriot missile. Patriot missiles are $7 million a piece. So if you look at it, $200, $500 to eliminate that by $7 million, the bill is on us. And there is a limited resources for Patriot. Trump did an amazing thing before this war for production of Patriot. Maybe we can talk about it in the next episode. But you know, the plan is to try to dry the resources of Patriot missiles in the Gulf area so they can hit with more precision in the future. And make no mistake, the Chinese are helping behind the scenes to give them the logistics and give them the GPS tracking, because Iran does not have any of that ability. The Chinese is not going to show up in the, because you know, if the Chinese show up in the war, this is not Iran, United States, Israel war.
It's a world war.
It's in scales that nobody is prepared for, and immediately is going to be a serious problem. So this is what we're dealing with. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to what the Iranians try to do, why they are not trying to stop the war or even surrender, as Trump is calling them today, they are going strategically for their own survivals. Are they going to succeed or not? I hope they're not going to succeed. But the problem is, what's next? And maybe we can talk about that in the next episode.
Well, let's that was one question, and yeah, let's wrap this up, and we'll on the next episode we'll have another question. So thank you for joining us on episode 4 of Different Perspective Podcast, and we'll be back with more soon and more questions to answer. And if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments section. Also subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a subscribe button there on the screen. We could really use your support in subscribing to the channel. And if you have questions that you would like answered, we will be interacting with those. So light us up with those. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.